Hello again, and welcome to another half hour of Suncoast Professional Wrestling. Hi, my name is Malenko, and again with me this week, we have a substitute this week. My co-host this week, Nasty Ned.
I'm glad you finally got that right.
Our sponsors this week are The Time Machine, Video Disc and Tapes, Anchor Air, and Capricorn 2. Ned, I'd like to welcome you here to Suncoast Professional Wrestling. Henry Raines isn't with us this half hour, and you took the seat that he usually occupies, and there's a lot of things that are happening here in the Suncoast area. I'm glad you're here, and right now we're going to get going with our first match in the ring. Right now to our announcer, Susan.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Our first match tonight features weighing in at 210 pounds from Bradenton, Florida, Tom Sawyer. And his opponent, weighing in at 200 pounds, also from Bradenton, Florida, Hammerin' Henry Raines. This will be a one-fall, 10-minute time limit match.
I'll tell you, Ned, here we have Henry Raines and Tom Sawyer. This is the reason why Henry Raines isn't with us here at the desk today. He's wrestling in our opening match here at Suncoast Professional Wrestling.
Well, let me tell you something. First off, it's real easy to sit out here and talk about what should be and what should have been, but we're going to find out if Hammerin' Henry Raines has what it really takes. We're going to see him in action.
Again this week, our referee Frankie Reyes. He's here with us week in and week out, doing a great job. Looks like right now both men are just tying up collar and elbow, trying to feel each other out here a little bit. Referee Frankie Reyes steps in for a clean break. Tom Sawyer. Looks like Tom Sawyer brought his own fan with him, and that's himself.
Well, right now it looks like Hammerin' Henry has the upper hand here, but I'm sure not for long.
There's Henry with an armbar. Has the advantage right now. Good reversal by Tom Sawyer. And another reversal by Hammerin' Henry Raines. Looks like Henry Raines going into a pinfall here. Got a count of one. That move there, Ned, I know you don't like to use a lot of the amateur moves, more into the coward's way, should we say, into trying to defeat an opponent, but what we just saw there is what we call a kneeling suplex that Henry used on Tom Sawyer.
Well, you can say what you want. The bottom line is professional wrestling is results, and that means winning matches, and that's where the money's at.
Real quick, Ned, I'd like to say that, next week upcoming, we have the match between yourself and Jumbo Barreta against Gator Gilmore in full force. Going back in time, you said you would never have a tag team partner again, that you kind of wanted to go on the single route. What was your decision in getting Jumbo Barreta to be your tag team partner, and how do you think between yourself and Jumbo you're going to fare against Gator Gilmore?
Well, first of all, we're talking about Jumbo Barreta. I've done a lot of looking. As I always look, I keep my eyes open, I scout for talent. Jumbo Barreta happens to be a man that I feel is certainly qualified, and if I didn't feel that he was qualified, he wouldn't be with me in the ring. I feel he's come a long ways. He's got a lot of potential, but I'm willing to give the kid a break.
Real quick, right back to the action in the ring. There's a beautiful suplex over that top rope, bringing Hammerin' Henry Raines back into the middle of the ring. There's Tom Sawyer picking up Hammerin' Henry Raines for a slam, then dropping a big leg across the chest. Frankie Reyes with a 2 count. I'll tell you, Ned, getting back to what we're talking about, upcoming next week, the match between yourself and Jumbo Barreta against full force of Gator Gilmore. There's a lot of things that have happened in weeks previous to this match. You have a feud going right now with Gator Gilmore. You had the opportunity a couple weeks back to get the belt. A lot of things, incidents that happened where you didn't come out the winner. Actually, you did have the belt, and it looked like Frankie Reyes reversed the decision there. What's your views on maybe another title match somewhere down the line against Gator Gilmore?
Well, as everybody saw, I clearly had the man beat. I had him pinned for the 3 count, and I feel that in all fairness that being the good sportsman that I am, I should be entitled to another title shot.
I think
Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, I do to a certain extent, but I think something you forgot to mention was you had Jumbo Barreta. I don't know if he was paid to do this or something you guys talked over. He came out by ringside, and if the fans don't remember, didn't get a chance to see, he was in the corner of the ring and he pulled Gator Gilmore's leg.
Well, see, you've heard everybody else's view as to what actually happened, but the truth was we know that Gator Gilmore is rather clumsy to begin with. And what really happened was his shoe was untied, and my buddy just happened to reach in there to try to tie his boot for him, and of course it was too late at that point. Clumsy already fell over.
Well, I think speaking on my behalf and the behalf of the people here that were in the Bradenton Auditorium that evening, and the people at home that watched the match, they clearly saw that Jumbo Barreta pulled the leg of Gator Gilmore. He went down, and you made the cover of a 1, 2, 3.
Now, who are you going to believe me? You going to believe me, or you going to believe a bunch of tomato pickers?
Well, you know, it's like it is my word against your word and the people's word against your word. And, you know, hopefully maybe someday we'll get that up on an old tape and we can review that together again.
Hey, that's fine, anytime.
Going back into the ring here. Beautiful move by Hammer and Henry Raines. Got a 2 count there. Looks like Tom Sawyer going for a jackknife. And gets the pinfall.
Well, I got to hand it to Hammer and Henry Raines. He got lucky this time. I'll tell you what, I think Tom Sawyer is definitely a force to be reckoned with here in the near future.
Well, that was our own Hammering Henry Raines right there with the pinfall coming out of a jackknife situation, putting the shoulders of Tom Sawyer down on the mat for a 1, 2, 3 count.
That's not bad. I could have done better.
Well, right now we're going to go to break, and we're going to come back with an interview, Nasty Ned. Something you're going to be interested in hearing is the words and comments of Gator Gilmore in full force. We'll be right back. Right now I'd like to welcome with me, on the left of me, Full Force, and on the right of me, Gator Gilmore. Gator, I don't know if you had the chance to hear the comments just a couple seconds ago. The Nasty Ned still to this day says that he won the title from you, that Jumbo Barreta was not in sight, that he didn't pull the leg of it. I know, speaking on my behalf and the people here that were in the Bradenton Auditorium that evening and the people at home that got to see it on TV, saw Jumbo Barreta come from the outside, actually pull your leg, and you went down, and Nasty Ned did have the pinfall. The referee, Frankie Reyes, reversed the decision, gave you back the belt. What's your views or comments on that what happened in that week?
Well, that's the only way that Nasty Ned can get the belt, by some undermined, devious tactic like that. He's not man enough, or does he have the skills or knowledge to be in that ring and to pin me to the count of 3 without using some force from the outside of the ring.
Some force, no pun intended over here. Full Force, let me ask you something real quick. A lot of things have been happening in Suncoast Pro Wrestling, and we're talking about the feud you have going with Jumbo Barreta. And it looks, right now, it's kind of come to a head, so to speak, where next week we're going to be seeing the match that I know I'm looking forward to and the people out there are looking forward to. And that's a tag team grudge match between yourself and Gator Gilmore against Jumbo Barreta and Nasty Ned. What have you guys done to prepare for this match, and what has myself and the fans got forward to looking forward to see?
Well, Dean, me and the champion, we train hard because we know that Jumbo Barreta and Nasty Ned are 2 of the most awesome people in professional wrestling. But I got one thing to tell you. Full Force is coming at you. Gator with me.
Well, I know we're looking forward to that match, and gentlemen, I'd like to wish both of you the best. Yourself, Gator, and Full Force. I know you guys got a lot of things to do right now as far as talking over your strategy and still working out. You still got a week to prepare for this match. I know it's just a matter of time before myself and everybody here at the Bradenton Auditorium can see that match. Right now, we're going to go for a break. We'll be right back with our second match of the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next match is a tag team match. Tonight, weighing in at 245 pounds from Longboat Key, Florida, Psycho. And his partner tonight, weighing in at 210 pounds from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Johnny X. Their opponents tonight, weighing in at 238 pounds from Ruskin, Florida, Chris the Dr. Proctor. And his partner, weighing in at 232 pounds from Sarasota, Florida, Paul Drake. This will be a 1-fall, 15-minute time limit match.
that flag out of
I'll tell you, Ned, this is going to be an interesting match here. We have the tag team match here, Chris the Dr. Proctor and Paul Cannonball Drake against the Psycho and Johnny Axe. I have yet to see this Psycho here in the Suncoast area. What do you know of this gentleman?
I don't know. Rumor has it that he possibly escaped from Malenko Psychiatric Center. That possibly could be, and any time you get in the ring with a maniac, anything can happen. But we're looking at Johnny Axe here and Psycho going up against Captain America over here. At least he thinks he's Captain America. And then you've got Chris the Dr. Proctor, which I haven't seen any license. I wonder what he's a doctor of. As far as I know, he's from Ruskin. Maybe he's a doctor of picking tomatoes or something. Who knows?
I'm not really.
The tomato doctor, yeah.
Well, it could just be. I'm really not sure. There's the bell for the match. Looks like starting the match off is Psycho and Paul Drake. You know, quick, I just want to mention something real fast, in that in upcoming weeks, we are going to be having a tag team tournament. And as I was talking to Hammer and Henry Raines a couple weeks back, looking at Chris, Dr. Proctor and Paul Cannonball Drake, they have an unblemished record. They have no checks in their loss column. And right now, looking, has to be these two gentlemen as the #1 seed in that tournament. We're going to be hearing more things about that tag team tournament in weeks to come.
Well, I would say they definitely have a promising future in the sport, and as far as their record, it certainly is unblemished, I will say that, but things can happen between now and then, so this all remains to be seen.
Again, I'd like to mention they brought their beautiful valet with them to the ring. Ned, bringing up on, bringing girls to the ring, let's talk about your girl, and that's that bat, so to speak, that you call Betsy.
Yeah, good old Bessie. What about her? What do you want to know?
Well, I'm not really too concerned about Betsy too much. Let's get back to the action in the ring right now. Looks like Psycho complaining to referee Frankie Reyes about a closed fist. Psycho tags out with Johnny Axe. I think the Psycho maybe might be a little nuts. I don't exactly know where he think he's going. Just steps out of the ring. Here we have Johnny Axe and Paul Drake tying up right now. Paul Drake bringing him to the turnbuckle. Tagging out with Chris the Dr. Proctor.
Okay, referee's trying to tell him to break it up, get out of the corner, and they seem to want to take their time.
Well, they do have a 10 count once they are into the ropes to break it. It's a big leg dropped across Johnny Axe's throat. Got a 2 count from referee Frankie Reyes. Chris Proctor going for the slam. Sends Johnny Axe right down to the canvas, falling up with a big elbow. Got a 1 count there. I'll tell you, Ned, I don't know if you got to hear the comments of Gator Gilmore in Full Force. These guys have really worked hard together, and you and Jumbo Barreta definitely got your hands full next week.
Well, on the same token, the other side of the coin, they've got their hands full too, and I certainly feel that between Jumbo and myself, we're capable of doing just about anything.
Real quick, if the people out there were paying attention to the match, looks like Johnny Axe used Nasty Ned's attitude adjuster.
Well, I would say a variation thereof.
Is this something that Johnny Axe came to you and you taught him how to do this, or just something he took upon himself?
Well, it's just kind of something you pick up at times when time calls for something, you improvise.
I'll tell you, it's definitely a hold that'll put you on the ground and make you think for a couple seconds.
Well, again, like I said earlier, the object is to win, and it doesn't matter how you win as long as you get your hand raised in victory, because when you win, that means titles. With titles comes money, and that's what it's all about.
Well, right now we have Chris Proctor in a headset as Johnny Axe is coming out of that. There's their valet at ringside there looking on. Let me ask you, Ned, do you think this valet here on the outside of the ring helps, or does she hinder what's going on in the match with Paul Drake and Chris Proctor?
Well, at this point, I'm not really sure whether or not she's actually their manager or she's their valet. I've not really seen anything yet as far as her involvement in the match, other than maybe just she's there for moral support. But I don't know. If I was going to have somebody outside, I'd want them to be ready at a moment's notice. I don't know if she's really capable of doing the job.
I think the difference of their valet and your valet is you can pick yours up and knock someone over the head with it. It'd be a little more difficult for them to pick up the young lady and knock someone on the head with it.
Well, at least one thing, I don't have to worry about her talking back too much.
Well, you got a point there, Nasty. Now let's go back to the ringside here. Johnny Axe with a backbreaker across the knee. dropping a big elbow there.
Big, vicious elbow. Almost. Almost a 3 count.
Chris Dr. Proctor trying to work his way into the corner to tag Paul Drake. He makes the tag. In comes Paul Drake. Some big boots there in the midsection. Shoots Johnny Axon to the ropes, and a big backdrop. I'll tell you one thing, he almost did a full flip there.
Yeah, he certainly did.
Going for the cover, 1, 2, and got a 2 count. That was close.
Beautiful drop kick.
Beautiful drop kick there by Paul Drake, sending Johnny Axe down.
Well, it looks like Paul Drake and Chris Proctor here have the upper hand, but I wouldn't sell these other 2 short.
Big slam there by Paul Drake, makes the tagger, Chris Dr. Proctor. Proctor comes in the ring now, dropping that elbow across the throat of Johnny Axe.
I think right now what Johnny Axe needs to do is get over and tag his partner.
Well, it looks like he's trying to attempt to make the tag.
Small package. Well, it certainly looks like...
That's a beautiful Oklahoma roll there by Chris Dr. Proctor, but couldn't hold on to make that pinfall.
Certainly looks like they really want the pinfall, but I'll tell you something.
Johnny Axe needs to get over there and tag up with Psycho to get his partner in there. You know, you can tell the difference now to watching Paul Drake and Chris Dr. Proctor. That these guys have worked together as a tag team. They know each other's moves. They know what to expect of each other. The way they're constantly tagging in and out and keeping the fresh man in, where they're going against the likes of Psycho and Johnny Axe, who probably have never teamed up together as a tag team. Which brings me to thought, this will be the first time you've ever had a tag team partner with Jumbo Barreta. There's a lot of difficulties and a lot of things I don't know if you guys have been able to work out. When you're working a tag match, you have to work together as a unit and come together as one.
Most definitely, and in any tag team match, you've got to have a captain. You've got to have somebody that's going to call the shots. Like I said with Jumbo Barreta, I feel the man has got a lot of potential. We spent some time together. We went down to the Keys. We partied together. We had a great time. He seems to be going in the same direction as myself, and we're just taking it one day at a time. And I think the man's got the potential, and maybe under my tutelage and under my wing, the man can really go places.
That's a beautiful double elbow there. Looks like Johnny Ace is taking the upper hand. See, here's where the inexperience of this tag team comes in. Johnny Axe, well, now he's making the tag, but he should have made the tag right at the time when he's making his comeback, and he was able to tag out with his partner. That's the difference of these 2 tag teams right here. Looks like Psycho and Johnny Axe got Chris Dr. Proctor tied up in their corner. Paul Drake comes in. Frankie Reyes, referee, trying to put Paul Drake outside. As you can see, when the referee's back is turned, they're doubling up on Chris and Dr. Proctor.
Of course, they got to the 10 count. You said earlier?
Johnny Axe looks like he has the upper hand here right now, slamming Chris and Dr. Proctor to the canvas. Here's another sign of inexperience. When he has a man going like this, see, instead of going a hold, he should be trying to go for a pinfall.
Well, maybe he feels he just has to wear him down a little bit more.
Well, this could come back. This could come back and haunt him at the end of the match. When he has the opportunity to make the pinfall and he chose not to, he chose instead to take on a hold and try to wear his man down. With this tag team of Paul Drake and Chris Proctor, there's not a lot of opportunities to try to tag these guys. These guys are quick, they move well in the ring, they're constantly tagging in and out. And every time that you have the opportunity to try to pin one of these gentlemen on the mat, you should take it. A rake across the eyes here, Johnny Axe.
Like a vicious headbutt right there.
See right here, again, he's not going for the pinfall. There's a fist to the throat. Now he tags out. Here comes Psycho in now.
Yeah, the Psycho character, he really looks
well, right
like,
there, it definitely looks like an illegal chokehold. Yeah. Referee Frankie Ray is getting right into the front of things right now.
Yeah, he certainly looks like he's out of a loony bin.
Beautiful suplex. Drop Psycho across the back. Here again, Psycho definitely needs to try to make the pinfall. Instead, he chose to choke his opponent. We got Dr. Proctor right now in the corner, double teaming him. Psycho dropping the elbow. That's a 2 count. Dr. Proctor needs to get over there and make the tag with Paul Drake. Psycho with the tag brings in Johnny Axe. Johnny Axe with an elbow. Paul Drake was not waiting. He chose to come in the ring. Shoots Johnny Axe in across. We have Dr. Proctor on the outside. Beautiful high suplex. And there's the bell and the winners. Still not a loss. Dr. Proctor, Paul Drake are our victors in this tag match. I'll tell you, Ned, that was a beautiful move there right now. We're going to go right now to a break. We're going to come back with an interview. Nasty Ned, you're going to have this interview to yourself, and that's your tag team partner, Jumbo Barreta. We'll be right back. At this time, I'd like to go to Nasty Ned, who right now is going to be interviewing Jumbo Barreta. This definitely should be interesting, so if you're out there watching, I'd pay close attention. Let's go to Nasty Ned right now with this interview.
Just like to welcome a good friend of mine, Jumbo Barreta, right here. Jumbo, did you happen to hear some of the comments that were made earlier by Gator Gilmore in Full Force? Who? That's what I said, too. Who? Yeah, those guys, I think they really got it made. They think they got something over on us, but I'll tell you what, they're in for the surprise of their life. Jumbo, I got to tell you this, in all honesty, you're looking great.
Thank you.
You're looking great. You really are.
I admire this buckle you got right here.
Yeah. Well,
I like it. Where'd you get it?
Well, that was a gift.
You sure that's not the Southern Tag Team belt?
I don't know. I think it looks better myself.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. That's nice. That's
Definitely.
really good.
You know, as far as the Southern Heavyweight Championship match, all you people out there know exactly what happened. We know the truth of the matter is that Gator Gilmore is clumsy. He couldn't even tie his own boots. So my buddy right here, Jumbo Barreta, actually came down out of the compassionate, just the compassionate person that he is.
That's right. I come out there to help my partner over here.
Yeah.
That's all I did.
That's right.
They robbed this man of the belt.
That's right. They took the belt away. We know all he actually did was reach in there to try to tie the man's boots because he couldn't tie his own boots.
He's crazy. Hey, these fans. These fans are so rude. They can't even be quiet so we can.
Yeah, why don't you people just quiet down while we're having our time right here?
That's right. That's right. Why don't you all just sit down and be quiet? Now, all this talk I hear, I was up in the locker room, I hear all this talk that Full Force and Gator Gilmore, what they're going to do to us with it. They're not going to do anything, all right? They're not going to do anything, all right?
Jumbo, how'd you like to hold Betsy for a little bit?
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, that's a privilege that very few have because really I don't trust too many people with Betsy.
Thank you. Babe Ruth gave you this, didn't he?
Actually, yes, that's the truth. We're going to take off for right now. We'll talk at you later.
Well, our sponsors for this week were Anchor Air, The Time Machine, Video Disc and Tapes, and the Capricorn 2. On behalf of myself and my special co-host this week, Nasty Ned, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. We saw a lot of things accomplished today. Victory by Hammer and Henry Reigns, victory by Dr. Proctor and Paul Drake. Well, next week I'm going to have my partner back with me again, Hammer and Henry Reigns, and I'm looking forward to it. Again, I'd like to say special thanks to our director in the truck, Bill, with all his support and help, and we'll see everybody next week.